scientists. My name is Autumn Gray and I'm a student at Quinnipiac. Today is October 11th at 1:52 p.m. The weather is sunny but a little bit chilly with a little breeze, so make sure you dress accordingly if you're going to be outside today. We'll be outside exploring the Sleeping Giant State Park located across from Quinnipiac University in Hamden, Connecticut, and we're going to walk around and discuss our wonderings and noticing. Before we get started, if you're taking your own wonder walk today, make sure to remember the social distancing guidelines and stay 6 feet away from people at all times, and to wear a mask if you're walking closely near others. Just remember to be safe and respect your surroundings. While on your walk today, I want you guys to take out your science notebooks and don't forget to record the date, the time, the weather, and I want you all to make a prediction on what you're going to see on your wonder walk. Make sure to use pictures, drawings, and words to describe what you notice and what you wonder in the place that you're taking your wonder walk. Here's an example of how I set up my science notebook today. As we start our walk today, I'd like to acknowledge that we're on the land of the Wapinger and Quinnipiac tribes that once lived on this land of the Sleeping Giant. Although it might have looked different back then, this was once a home to all the indigenous people. Did you know that the Sleeping Giant was the home of the Wapinger and Quinnipiac tribes? Why do you guys think that Quinnipiac University, where do you think they got their name from? As I'm on my walk, I'm starting to notice that this huge tree has fell. And now I'm wondering, did it fall from a storm? Was it cut down? I'm wondering why the tree is here. Another thing that I'm noticing today is the leaves on the trees seem to be green, but as I'm walking, I see that some of the leaves are different colors. Like here's a yellow one, an orange one, there's some red ones. So now I'm kind of wondering what makes them change colors. Oh wow, I noticed that this tree looks a little bit different than the tree that we just saw before. Because on this tree, we could see what was underneath and what was going into the ground, while that tree was more cut. So I'm noticing that there are roots, and I'm wondering what the roots did to the tree to help it grow. While I'm walking on the trail, I came across this little bridge. And now I'm wondering, do you think that this bridge was man-made or was it natural? I'm not sure if you guys can hear, but I hear a lot of rustling in the bushes. So I'm wondering, is there an animal that lives there? Is this an animal's home? What type of animal do I hear? So I'm noticing on this walk that there's some flower types that we've come across. These ones are white, while these ones are yellow. And right before, I noticed that there was a little bee sitting on top of the flowers. So I'm wondering, does the bee prefer the yellow flowers over the white flowers? Or I'm wondering why the bee chose this flower instead of the other one. I noticed that suddenly the trail changed from gravel to really big rocks, and it's getting difficult to walk on. I'm wondering if the rocks just appeared here, like fell over time, or if somebody put these rocks here for the trail. I want you all to take a look at the ground that you're walking on. Are you walking on pavement, grass, pebbles, the sidewalk? Because I'm walking on a bunch of rocks. On this walk, I'm noticing that there's a lot of animals. I've seen some dogs, I've seen some chipmunks, some squirrels, some bees, and a bunch of flies. As I've continued my walk on the trail, I've noticed that one portion of the trail is really shady. So I'm wondering, are the trees blocking the sun to make it shady, or are there clouds covering the sun that make it shady? Leaves that we saw earlier on the hike, I'm noticing that these ones are a completely different color as the ones that we saw earlier. So I'm wondering, what makes each leaf a different color? Why do they have different colors? Do animals prefer certain leaves because of their color? So now that I made it to the top, you can actually see the entire top of the mountain, which we were originally walking on. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but there was a trail right under there that we were walking to that led us to the top of the mountain. And now on the top of the mountain, you can see all the different colors of the leaves changing because it's becoming fall. So as you can see from the top of the mountain, there's Quinnipiac University. So I'm wondering, what was life like before Quinnipiac was here? Do you think it was part of the mountain? Do you think that there was a bunch of trees that we bulldozed down in order to make a university? about the top of the mountain, that it's a lot windier than it was down below. As you could see, all the leaves on the trees are moving. Why do you guys think that it's more windier on the top than it is on the bottom? When you look off the cliff of the mountain, I noticed that there's a bunch of broken rock pieces. So I'm wondering, were those placed there by people, or were those broken pieces of the mountain that fell off and ended up there? So everybody, look at these branches. I'm noticing that on these ones over here, there's leaves attached to it, but they're very easy to come off. I just touched it and it fell off. So I'm wondering if these strong winds have knocked the leaves off of the branches, and if it's becoming winter because the leaves are coming off the branches. So as I'm walking near the rocks, I've come across this feather over here. As you can see, the feather is dark black. So I'm wondering, was there an animal here? Was that a bird's feather? I'm wondering why the feather is stuck in the grass and where it came from. As you can see on this large rock, there is this patch of, I believe it's fungus. And over here, there is a patch of a little bit greener fungus. So as we compare them, we notice that there's two different colors. One is bigger than the other. And I'm wondering, what made this fungus appear on the rock? Why is it there? Also from the top of the mountain, I'm noticing that there's some building structures in the distance. I'm thinking it's New Haven, but I'm wondering what town that actually is and where those buildings are. We know that roots are used to anchor the tree into the ground and to bring nutrients from the soil into the tree to help it grow. So I stumbled upon this root right here, and I'm wondering what tree is it attached to, giving the nutrients to the tree. So on my way down, I noticed that there's this really steep hill filled with a bunch of rocks, and I'm wondering how these rocks got there. Another thing that I noticed was this moss growing on the side of the mountain. So I'm wondering what insects are living in the moss, and what does the moss do to help the environment? What's its role? Something funny that I found on this trail was on this rock, it seems like somebody drew a pizza. So I'm wondering, did they draw the pizza with the rock? Wow. As you can see, rocks scratching against each other, it's kind of like chalk. You can like make something, or you can just scratch it because they rub off onto each other. What I just found are some purple flowers. So compared to the flowers that we saw before, they're completely different color. And it makes me wonder, why are purple flowers growing over here and not growing where we saw the original flowers? What makes the colors purple? Why? They're reminding me of something back at home, because I have steps like this in my backyard. So walking down these steps are bringing up memories of me walking in the steps in my backyard. That concludes our Wonder Walk. Thanks, scientists, for taking this trip with me, and make sure when you're doing your own Wonder Walk to write down all your noticing and wonderings. Bye!